Hey everyone, I'm Melanie from Streamlined Legal, where we help law firms get the most out of their practice management software. Tonight we are talking about custom fields, and specifically we're talking about getting your team's buy-in on custom fields. Because I'll be honest with you, when you first start using custom fields very robustly and start collecting a lot of information in those custom fields, your team may not be excited initially, especially if you ask them to enter all of the data at once. So for example, if I want to ask my team to create a list of all of the judges in the domestic court, as well as their assistants and all of their contact information, that's going to take some time, right? I mean, it's going to take a chunk out of their day, at least a day, depending on how many judges there are. Even if I ask them to do it a little bit at a time, right? As we come across a new case or as we come up on a case that we haven't worked on recently, then I want to go ahead and have them put in the judges and the judge's assistant and all that. So that's going to take time as well. It's going to make their workflow slower than they're used to. And so they also may not be excited about that either. So it's hard sometimes to see the benefit of these custom fields from the beginning, because at the beginning it just feels like a lot of work and it feels like we're taking longer than we need to or than we usually do. So that's a great time to remind them of the benefits of the custom fields so that they can start getting a little more excited about this and see the value of what they're doing. So number one, the first benefit that I always talk about is never having to look for information again. Now, we don't always realize how much time we spend searching through emails for contact information or searching the web for contact information. And so now, if we're the ones that originally got the email, by the way, with the contact information, it might be easier, right? We might remember something where we saw it. But with the number of emails that we get in one day, I'm sure that you're still having to hunt for things. Or even worse, if we weren't the one that originally got the contact information, now we have to search and figure out who has it and ask them for it and where did you put it and how can I get it? And that's just a huge time suck in my experience, when instead we could know exactly where it's kept and go right to it when we need it. So instead of having to look up that courthouse address 5 times or memorize it, now I can just look it up once, stick it in Clio or my practice management software, and then go from there and be able to access it whenever I need it almost immediately because I know exactly where it's held. So the second benefit, in addition to not having to look for information again, is always having the latest information on a case and knowing what's happening. So we no longer have to protect those files. I say protect in quotes, right? Sometimes we have team members that feel like they need to protect a file so that others don't work on it because then they won't know what's happening, right? For fear that they just will be kept out of the loop and won't know what's going on. But if we take the time to update custom fields, it's kind of like broadcasting to everyone that needs to know the status or current stage of that case so that we're not constantly asking other team members what's happening here, what's going on here, and all that. We can just simply look at those custom fields and get an idea for what's happened or what needs to happen next. And then lastly, what I think is the biggest benefit of custom fields is using them in our document automation. So yes, we have to type the information in now, but this could be the last time that we ever type in the judge's name or the judge's address, because now our document can just pull that information from Clio, which means no more double data entry, no more copying and pasting the client's address 5 times in one set of documents, because Clio can just simply pull that out of the system. So that is by far the biggest benefit, I think, of custom fields next to being able to quick reference them. Now, of course, if your team hasn't seen these document templates or been able to use them yet, it'll be a lot harder for them to visualize or imagine the possibilities. So reach out to Streamline Legal. We can get those templates in your team's hands ASAP so that your whole team can start recognizing the value of custom fields today. Let me know how they're working for you. Have you tried custom fields? Are they working? What works well? What doesn't work? Drop it in the chat and we'll see what we can do for other firms as well. Thanks so much. Have a great evening.